And we go into the product itself, the battery box. So what is the battery box? What makes the battery box special? The first thing is what's inside. That is that lithium iron phosphate chemistry. So lithium iron phosphate was created with two big ideas in mind. On the one hand was the being it's a battery built with very commonly available materials, non-toxic, so it's a very environmental friendly battery. And the other big concept is a very high thermal stability battery, which this means, which translates into a very high safety battery. So there's a video whenever you get the presentation. This is the video it's mentioning. It shows at comparison tests between the common nickel cobalt manganese batteries, the ones that are more common in electric vehicles, and some home energy storage systems, how the lithium iron phosphate behaves, and the future BYD blade behaves. And what it shows in the video is that even in the most extreme tests, in the case of internal short circuit through a piecing test, the battery actually just heats up a little bit, but this has no fire and no explosion, and that's critical for the design of the product, because we want to make sure that our customers can forget about the battery from a safety point of view. They can rest assured that there's no issue that's going to arise from the battery system at home, so they can have it for 10 years, 20 years in their house without having to worry about it. Another big benefit that being part of the BYD family, of the BYD company, it means it's a massive world-class strength on manufacturing. So this not only speaks about the cell manufacturing, of course, being the world largest manufacturer of lithium iron phosphate batteries has a benefit in the cost and the quality of their cells, but also the battery box itself. So the images you're seeing on the top, these are the new manufacturing lines that were launched in 2020. So regardless of the challenges due to COVID and all the supply issues during 2020, BYD Battery Box managed to increase the output by tripling their deliveries. And in 2021, we are on track to a similar type of growth. So being able to match the growth that we are observing in the market. And actually, I forgot to mention, one thing that is very significant is that for those of you that are familiar with the automotive manufacturing, the battery box manufacturing line is actually an ISO TS certified. ISO TS is the total quality standard for the automotive sector, and this is something we've applied to the battery box production line, and it really has paid off from a quality point of view. And something we do get very often questions about battery life, and I think a nominal life, etc. And I think it's always very difficult to respond with a data sheet. So, but one of the areas where we are fortunate in BYD is that we have the experience, we have the real world application of those batteries. The same batteries that are going into the battery boxes have been used in cars for many years. So we have the track record that we know some cars have driven for over 1 million miles without having to, or million kilometers without having to replace the batteries. And here we have one example of an application of those same LFP batteries in a taxi fleet in Belgium. Once we look into the product of the battery box, the first big identity is its flexibility. And this flexibility translates in many areas of the product. On the one hand is the flexibility of size. So starting from very small, the LVS battery that starts from just 4 kilowatt hours up to the largest possible system you can make with a battery box of 983 kilowatt hours, so almost a megawatt hour, that you can be done with the same type of battery just by putting units in parallel. This, of course, gives you a wide range of possible applications. So you can do a small on-grid residential, you can have off-grid residential, you can have commercial, you have single phase, 3-phase. So what we want to offer you is a portfolio that allows you to go to any kind of customer, any kind of application, and with the same type of technology, just by choosing the amount of units and the correct type of units, then you can approach any kind of customer. And as I mentioned before in the design of the system, an additional element of flexibility is the fact that you don't need to have the perfect design today. You can start with a smaller system and grow it later on when you have data. And also, if the circumstances of your customers change, you can add batteries later on. Something that's very, very popular. You have one battery for a family, and then once they add an electric vehicle, they add a second tower of a battery. The only consideration here, we'll show you this on the technical side, sorry, is that the high voltage batteries are actually connected in series. So take this into consideration when you add a new battery. Oh, sorry. Sorry. When you add a new battery, that new battery will have as much capacity as the lowest capacity of the current batteries if they're in series, because the same current has to circulate by all of them. So if you are adding a battery much later on, 3-4 years down the line, we recommend putting that battery in parallel. So in the high voltage systems, you can choose series and parallel. In the low voltage batteries, it will always be parallel. So in low voltage batteries, you don't need to worry about this concept. Another big element of flexibility is, of course, our compatible inverters. There's always discussion: is it better to have a battery and inverter? Is it better to have an all-in-one? Well, we want to give our customers the option to work with the inverter that provides them the functions that they want and the quality they want, the brand that they like. So we prefer to partner with the market leaders in this sector. They want our experts on making inverters, so we can focus on making the best possible batteries. Another, of course, element of flexibility, as these batteries are used all over the world, from microgrids in Africa to homes in Europe. This has a wide range of physical applications. So these are IP55, so they could be indoor and outdoor, but with some outdoor with some preferably with some cover. But in terms of temperature, also from -10 to 50 degrees. And if the batteries actually were to exceed or go below that temperature, the system itself will go on standby, and then it will start working again once the temperature is inside range. Moving from flexibility to something else that we're very proud of is high performance. As I mentioned, one, of course, having the benefits of this massive R&D team from BYD cells, a BYD battery box, must show in some way in the performance of the product. So these are the results of the system performance index test that HCW Berlin does every year. And it's been going for 3 years. It's the attempt of providing a universal value of efficiency of systems. So it compares the real system, the test of real systems, with the theoretical 100% efficiency system. And for the first 3 years that this test has been running, BYD has been number one, and we've been fortunate to also reach that level with 3 different of our partners. So in 2018 it was with SMA, 2019 with Costal, and 2020 just last year with Fronius. So summarizing the advantages of the battery box. So first of all is that you have BYD inside and behind the product. So you have the strength, the technical and commercial strength of BYD. You have a company that's here to stay, to support you in the warranties and the long-term life of the product. Of course, the lithium iron phosphate, the chemistry inside the battery is something that we consider critical. The element of flexibility from a technical point of view to a application point of view, to give you lots of options, all the possible options you might need to succeed in this sector. And of course, the performance, as I was showing with the results for the energy system performance index.